So let's start. What was your question? You kept saying you want to ask that question to her.
Well, everybody knows who you guys are, right? You guys
I don't
need an
know about
introduction?
Yeah.
I think we do. I don't
Yeah,
know.
we definitely do.
Who are we?
Well, who are you?
I'm Nicole with Hot Mod Agency, and we've interviewed before, but I run an influencer marketing agency here in Central Florida, and recently, became partners with Grant, and now we're running with the Influencer Academy.
And Grant, who are you?
I'm Grant Sparks. People mostly know me from Spark Sites, but they don't know my entrepreneur coaching from State of the Spark as much. I just have a passion for training people. And like our mission is igniting lives of explosive significance. And we've been doing that in a lot of ways. But when I encountered Nicole's mission, do you know your mission? What has been your mission?
Well, my mission started and still really is helping moms and families create a supplemental income through content creation services, through through influencer marketing. So that continues to be really like the stronghold through both of our missions, because they both, answer the question, how do I add value to people's lives? And so that's what we continue to do through the multiple ventures that were going on.
That's exactly what you described in our first conversation.
Right.
I remember that.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
And I tagged onto that because from the website company side, we watched small businesses in their marketing quite closely. And most marketing is not affordable. You scroll through Instagram and Facebook and they have all these marketing suggestions. And you go to the average small business owner and you look at their budget. And it's like, they couldn't execute this if they tried. They're barely bringing an average income home. I think the SBA says the average business brings home $58,000 a year, which is barely the average salary. So when they say, pay for these ads, go to these conferences, network with these people, it's like, that's cute, but I can't afford it. Content marketing and what influencers are doing is accessible to everyone. So it's not just influencers. We're starting to talk about it as creators, because even small business owners you're a content creator. You may or may not consider yourself an influencer, and so I saw writing on the wall for my small businesses. And then when I heard her mission, she's a mission-driven organization, and she has a huge awareness of what's going on in marketing and what's going on in content creation and influencers. I said, okay, this is a solution that my clients, my average small business owners, can attach to. And so that just makes sense. And especially as we train, like my passion to train entrepreneurs, I try to make sure that every element of the business is approachable at any budget. And I think content creation and influencer.
Well, you wrote a book too, didn't you? What was your book on?
A few.
Your most recent one?
I guess the one you might be referring to is the Top 100 Dream Igniter, which is a goal-setting book. And it's basic. I should rebrand it. It's basically a goal-setting book for people with ADHD. It's kind of my own process to handle that. So I do have that book, but it's a little older, and I've written others back in the day. I'm like, oh my gosh, he doesn't know about that one book, I hope. there's some
Dude, you wrote a book.
Yeah.
I haven't written a book. Have you written a book?
No.
I can't imagine
time.
the work.
It's another one of our
goals, our projects.
Especially if you've written more than one.
Yeah, since he knows,
yeah,
how
man.
to do it. Let's go.
Let's go, man.
So what Influencer Academy, how did you guys come up with Influencer Academy? And what exactly is it?
Yeah. So, in Central Florida, I've hosted multiple workshops at Catapult. And there's just a demand from the community to learn how to be content creators and to learn how to be influencers for multiple reasons, whether it's a stay-at-home mom or it's just somebody who's like, I want to have my own business. And I see influencer marketing as a way to do that. So we've already been hosting it. And then we were like, we need to get this online. So then we developed the Influencer Academy platform, which is a membership. And we have upwards of 40 members right now, and we're constantly feeding this community with updates, resources, and then best of all, they're feeding each other because they all bring their own level of expertise. And so we have business owners in there, local business owners, we have creators, and we have realtors. And so the main goal is we're all really looking to build our social media platforms and learn from each other, and that's exactly what's happening. But one of those things is the outreach and having in real life events. And so the best thing to do is pick a date and announce it to everybody so you can't back out. And that's what August 3rd is about. We're going to have our first in-person Influencer Academy workshop where we will train and educate people on how to either get paid collabs, start getting paid collabs, or get their next paid collab. And a paid collab is a brand partnership with a business or brand or a travel resort or tourism board. So the infrastructure, the system is the same, but it's giving them the tools to do that.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's a fantastic step forward, because I've never heard of anybody or anything that would teach people, because my daughter, she's like,
Mhm.
when she was 15, 16, she was an influencer and makeup and stuff, and she didn't even know it. Now she's 18. Now she wants to be more of an entrepreneur.
Yes.
And so anybody who wants to start learning from the very bottom and learn up, you've got this nice new academy.
You said the key word there, which is we've got to shift the mindset of I'm an influencer to I'm a business owner.
Yeah.
And so that's part of our mission too, is you can make this work. You just need to have the tools. And that's where the toolkit comes in, like basic business tools like Google Docs or Excel spreadsheets to track, the people you want to work with, to having a proposal, to having an invoice. It sounds like the basics, but a lot of people don't know that's where they need to start to set up their business. So we give them those tools, we teach them how to use them, and then they enter into these partnerships feeling confident and prepared. And that's half the battle with most of them, with most people.
Yeah. So if you're just out there doing your thing, having fun, and you're enjoying it, and you're getting, I guess, subscriptions, and people are seeing your stuff, why not take the next step and start making a few bucks doing what you're doing?
Right.
You may get free revenue from people trying out. My daughter got this thing from TikTok. Now she's doing makeup, and she's going to get paid when someone buys something. So commissions and all that.
There's so many ways to make money online.
Yeah.
There's so many ways to monetize, and you're exactly right. It goes from like, this is fun to like, oh wait, I could make money at this. And then all of a sudden the mindset changes, and then they go, oh, well, how do I make money like this? And that's, I think, where we come in.
And so how long is your course? Is it you said it's going to be August 3rd, your first?
Oh, that one.
The workshop, the in-person workshop, our curriculum could probably serve a full day, but we are debating on how much time people will actually commit. So it's like, is it going to be a 9 to 12, and then we break for lunch and then come back and maybe finish up and maybe do some more like side by side, like one-on-one learning. I'm not sure yet, but for sure it's going to be 9 to 12. I just don't know if we'll do a full day. I think is what we're still.
Oh yeah, because there's a lot, and we're finding that a lot of the other people like us in the community that are training influencers, honestly, things like pitch proposals and templates, they're a dime a dozen. Like, a lot of these influencers can just go to Canva, format something, they buy it from Etsy, and here you go. And it's hollow. And so they go through this material, they put it together, and then they ask themselves, wait, now what? Like, what do I put in my email template? With Nicole's experience in the industry, we actually showed them how to format that email in a way that the brand can actually receive. And it's similar with the pitch proposal, how to structure your deals. Sure, you can go to Canva and get a proposal template. And all of our competitors, if you actually look at their material, they're charging like $1,000 for this.
Holy crap.
But they're literally templates that they bought on Etsy, and it's embarrassing. It's shallow. Because they don't have, most of them don't have the industry experience that Nicole does. And so when people come into our orbit, you can go learn how to create a TikTok elsewhere. You can learn how to do the best shot with your camera and get the audio correct somewhere else. What we're there to do is get them to their first paid collab within 30 days or less, or their next paid collab. Maybe they got lucky. Maybe your daughter got lucky and not just got a bunch of makeup, but also got paid. And it's like, okay, that's interesting. How do I do that again? Right. We try to make it a predictable business model. So I say all that to say, we're trying to deliberate, should we do a half day or full day? Because there is a paradigm shift that we're trying to help our creators have, where they sit back and go, oh, this is super cool. I can, get paid collabs, but actually make the shift of go, wait, I can make real money doing, like, I could create my own voice in a variety of ways and create not just like token monies and creator fund from TikTok's great, but how many views are you going to need to go make 60 a year? It's a lot. It's a lot.
Like years.
But brand deals could tilt that much differently. We have influencers that have less than 10,000 followers, and they have a full-time income from that.
Right.
So we're trying to decide what Saturday should look like, in order to imbue as much of that into that.
Sounds like your daughter should attend.
Yeah.
Oh, sounds good.
There you go.
Like, really, she sounds like she's right at that mark where she's taking her career seriously and she wants to learn to treat it like more like a business. And that's the ideal student at this point.
And the TikTok shop itself, like, I know all the politics around TikTok and all the drama. We have never seen a better platform ever for the algorithm works like none other.
Right.
I mean, and there's an idea of an interest graph versus a social graph. And if anyone spends any time on TikTok and gets over some of the headlines, they'll realize that the feed is second to none. But on top of that, the TikTok shop, the TikTok creator shop for people like your daughter, that there's nothing like it anywhere, like in any other social platform.
That's why so many people want to get rid of it. It's too good.
Yeah.
That's probably true.
Yes.
You're competing with Google now, and you're competing with Twitter and all that.
We just read an article that 35 and younger, over 40% of all consumers, and this is from Google did this research. Google published this research. Consumers 35 and younger, regardless of location or gender, 40% of them are shopping for services and products now, specifically on Instagram and TikTok. You and I would boot up Google and say, where do we get the best necklace?
Right.
You know, instead they would go, and they're not just looking at creators, they're just looking to see what are the last 30 posts on that one necklace I like or that one hat I like. And they're shopping from that right now. And 40% is a huge number. And it's tilting. And so
even business services like plumbing and like
literally,
basic stuff.
Literally.
Like, I want to see if they have a TikTok or an Instagram, and because I'll learn more about the business through their content than I will through their Google reviews.
And customers put on there, hey, he's fantastic. He did exactly what I wanted.
Yeah.
And someone will see an unbiased opinion.
That's right.
Yeah.
So I was in the locker room. I don't know if I told you this story this morning or not. I was in the locker room and ran into an LEDC member. I won't name them, but they were talking about their business. And I asked them, what's the biggest challenge they're facing right now? And he said, labor, hands down. And I said, what do you mean? And he said, well, I love the millennial generation. And he listed, they're very good this, and this way. He said, but since COVID, I can't get people to walk in the door. And I'm not talking about work ethic issues. I'm literally talking about they won't take the job. We bring in, he said, we bring in about 10 a week for new hires at their manufacturing plant. By the end of the week, we keep one on the averages. And I said, how's your social media? He said, well, that's irrelevant. I said, no, it's not. Millennials and younger will shop for jobs based on the culture they see portrayed in that social content.
We just went into, I think it was the Rotary, and we'll do lunch and learns for like Rotary and Kiwanis. And one of the issues that I think the director of communications for the Polk County Sheriff's Office was facing was recruiting.
That's exactly.
And we've seen positive case studies for the culture, like posting to social about the culture of some of the firehouses or the police force that increased recruiting by like 10-fold. And so we started talking to him about it. And he's like, our basic marketing is just not doing anything for our recruitment. And it's only through social media that you can create a culture where people get excited about something that traditionally they may not have ever even been exposed to. Like a lot of times you become a cop or a firefighter because your dad was one. And that's usually the only way in. It's not usually through some empowering story unless they run like a campaign once a year, where social media is all year long, and all you really have to do is tell the story of the camaraderie inside the firehouse or inside one of the like classes, like what is it, like a boot camp to get like a police training. I mean, it wouldn't take too much to tell the story. That's how people are finding their careers. They get enthralled.
Growing so fast.
Absolutely.
And I predicted when we were talking about this in January, we're going to start talking less and less about the term influencer and talk more and more about the term creator, content creator. Because what we're finding is even in Influencer Academy, there's a large representation of small business owners. We, in some ways I'm kind of like, oh, Influencer Academy, it's kind of puts small business owners off. It's influencers and all the baggage that comes with that.
Yeah.
But any savvy small local business has their ears up and says, hey, how do I get in? So we have a few small business owners in, and they're watching the content, and yes, the marketing for Influencer Academy is around getting a first paid collab. But small business owners are paying attention because they want to know how to work with influencers.
Right.
Because you don't have to, like this manufacturing example or the sheriff's department, they don't necessarily, the joy or the pleasure for them when as it comes to influencer work and social media they don't have to necessarily fire up and now have a new department of influencers in their marketing. They can reach
Compliment.
They can reach out to an influencer doing it, and we'll pick a local influencer with 50,000 followers and do a day in the life of a police officer, a
Right.
ride along. And then that person is responsible for producing the content. Think of how much Grady actually pays to create a commercial. What if instead an influencer was responsible for that? They collabed on their account, and the reach that that would have locally,
Amplified.
it costs the police department nothing but a day. And now they get this amplification of content. So it's like a win-win for both
I agree.
parties.
Yeah.
And so we call it influencer work, but our interests are starting to, and hot mod still,
Yeah.